Welcome to the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe. Some of the cream of European poker talent on show today. And the prize money, the pool for this tournament is $300,000. But only the winner today will go through to the final.
Have to look at Ross Boatman with his experience. Certainly played on TV more than anybody else here, as well as appearing in films and in London's Burning, of course. But I certainly wouldn't be wasting my money betting on this one.
Two to play.
Sonnert is on the button initially, which means the action is on Torsten Iversen.
Pass. 2. Pass.
Blinds just 1,000 and 2,000 at this stage, and they'll stay that way for the first 35 minutes, just to give the players a chance to settle in. They all start with 100,000 in chips, and we don't stop until someone has got the lot.
Ian Fraser's found a hand in the small blind. A suited ace-8.
First hand, we keep it friendly, if you let me.
Any raise.
Yeah.
Might be a bit of banter between Fraser and Boatman, I suspect.
6,000 more.
Oh, sorry. I've just got to have a look at that one now, yeah.
Ian Fraser said, let's keep this friendly, with a hand he could certainly have raised himself. And Ross decided
you
no.
Want to see a flop? Yeah.
Ross has raised 6,000 the very first hand.
I can't see Fraser laying this one down so early.
This could become quite a big pot.
And Ian calls.
We're a minute into the tournament and the banter's started already.
10.
Here comes the
7,
flop.
Jack.
Well,
And the flop
Check
comes
or
down
bet?
10, 7, Jack.
there's a straight draw there.
Check.
Both players will like the look of it.
Queen would give Boatman the straight.
10.
A 9 for Fraser
10,000.
would give him the straight. So antlers locked already. But
Ian Fraser's daughter Emily paying rapt attention to this first hand.
I've got quite a nice hand. I knew this was going to get big. I knew it was going to get big.
Ian
Making my heart monitor go.
in front at the moment, but is he going to talk himself
How's his
off
heart
this?
monitor going up there, Grub?
Well, if he puts Boatman on some kind of a hand, he's only got a gut shot.
Okay.
Pass.
Okay, Ross wins the first
Ross
hand.
very cool, and he takes Fraser off the better hand straight away. You're watching the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe.
to play.
Early stages here. Boatman has a very narrow chip lead, but it's just skirmishing at the moment.
2.
He's found 2 cards worth scrutiny.
Usually a raising hand,
Yep.
rather than a calling hand.
You don't want to be
Coach,
limping with it. You want to
6.
see where you are. So there's a declaration of intent. A raise from Rocky Ross.
Pass. 6.
Round to Robin Keston. He's a friend of Ross's, and his business when he's not playing poker is opening bingo clubs. So gambling in
Call.
the blood. And he makes the call.
He wants to see as many full houses as possible here. Collier
Pass.
says no.
4 more.
Banked in the blind with a quite playable hand, but with a raise and a call. Jack 8 suited
Pass.
suddenly looks Lilliputian.
Okay, Ross made it 6,000 to play, and Robin has called.
So 2 for the
7.
flop,
2. Queen.
and that has hit
Flop comes
Keston.
7 deuce queen.
Nothing for Ross Boatman, but he raised pre-flop. He can represent a big card, and when a player like Ross checks to you, sometimes that's even more frightening than a bet.
Yeah.
And certainly
Check.
it has chilled the marrow of Robin Keston.
7.
Not now though, he's
Swing
made
card is a
trip
7.
7s on the turn.
You can see that Ross Boatman already drawing dead before we get to the river, and now he decides to bet.
6.
Now Robin Keston. You want to make this look like a terrible decision. I'm on a draw, hoping to hit a spade. Probably just limp in, maybe make a small raise.
with 20.
Well, it's a big raise.
6,000. Robin re-raises to 26 and wins the pot.
No way that Boatman, of course, could call that. Surprised that Keston didn't just put a little call in and try and induce a bet on the river from his opponent there. So here are the basics of Texas Hold'em. First of all, one person is made the nominated dealer or button. The player to the left places the small blind, then the next player places the big blind. These are bets to get the action going. All players are dealt 2 cards face down, called the hold cards. Now everyone can fold, call or raise. The first person to bet is to the left of the big blind. Now the first 3 community cards are placed in the middle. This is called the flop. These are cards for all players to use to make the best hand. Then there's another round of betting, but this time it's the player to the left of the button who goes first. The next card is dealt. This is called the turn, followed by more betting before the final card, the river. We have a final round of betting, and all players left in the hand must show their cards. The best 5-card poker hand wins the pot. Robin Keston is the early chip leader in this heat. Boatman's been relatively quiet so far.
Pass.
Natural.
He can't be getting a good hand every time, surely.
He's getting some grief from me and Fraser. He's just questioning the fact that Keston's in virtually every pot.
It's
a big flop. Yeah?
Call. 2. Pass.
I wasn't going anywhere on the flop, was I?
Call. Anyway.
Called myself into a bit of trouble here. Yeah. Coming in.
No raise.
Okay, we got three-way action.
So Fraser allowed to come into the pot
King.
with no raise on the
Ace.
big blind. So Razor's flop and Sonnet has leapt to the front.
Check.
I suppose I'll check if I
Check.
had some of this. So.
9.
Sonnet
3.
slow played the flop, but now
Pass.
wants to get some money in there.
3,000.
With 3 kings, it's hard to blame him. Now Keston has absolutely nothing. Has that chip lead gone to his head, however? Does he think he can start stealing and pushing these players around?
Call.
Well, Sonnet knows he won't have a king, or is virtually certain of that. He won't be worried by an ace.
7.
Sonnet is going all the way. Well, there's an up and down straight draw for Robin Keston, but sadly no more cards to come.
This was an advanced play and it sort of backfired a bit. That's why they call it the Masters tournament, I guess. Very advanced.
Well, then it wins the pot.
I'll have to remember that next time I lose a pot. Yeah, just call it advanced poker.
This event consists of a lot of really good players from all over Europe, basically. So it's going to be really hard to go the whole way, but it's going to be fun to play.
You go into any casino anywhere in the world, into the
2 to
poker
play.
room, I reckon 70% have got the shades on, Crub.
Pass.
Well, the eyes are the window of the soul, as the poet said. And also, if you're playing a decent poker player, a window to what your
Pass.
cards may be.
That's where I go wrong. I just use them when it's sunny.
Call. 1 more.
I might call blind. There you go. I don't want to find a monster and put you all off.
Ian Fraser calling blind,
Anyways.
and he'll be happy when he does look at those cards. It's
I know you're going to be frightened of his limp, so I don't expect a raise
I'm
coming
frightened
in
of
here.
everything here. Those,
plenty of rabbit round the bays,
No raise.
and Ross says, all right,
No,
we'll see a
check.
flop.
So we got three-way action.
3 players going to see these 3 cards.
5, 6, 7.
Interesting flop that. Top pair for Boatman. Sonnet
already
is up
checked
and
that.
down.
I missed it.
Ian Fraser also up and down. He's got the top end of it. Sonnet has got what you call the idiot end of the straight. No insult intended. He's got the 4, 5, 6, 7. And Ian Fraser has the 5, 6, 7, 8.
4.
Ross bets 4,000.
I don't think that's going to be enough to get rid of these two draws.
I better have a look now, I suppose.
Well, it did get rid of Banks on it.
This one ain't bad.
It's worth 4.
It is worth 4. Because a 4 or a 9 would make
It's worth
Fraser the
about
straight. He probably reckons his ace would be
6.
good as well if he could pair that.
Calls.
I'm going to play in the blind more.
7.
Oh, trips now.
10 cards are 7.
But still, that straight draw would be good.
Check.
Ross can't let him draw to that free card. He may suspect from that speech and that call that Ian is on a draw.
And either way, whether it's the straight draw or the flush draw, he knows his trips could be beaten if Fraser hits.
I don't want to second guess a player as good as Ross Boatman, but
Check.
I suggest closing the door now.
Check.
Well, he hasn't.
The river card
3.
is a 3.
Will he regret it?
Yeah,
Well,
thanks.
it's
The old
another
time of
heart.
shame then.
Well, Sonnet, if he'd stayed in the pot, would have made his straight. That's history now.
It would only have cost him another 4,000 as well.
One of each.
16.
16.
16,000.
And now Fraser's trying to buy it and a very quick
Finish
call.
and take.
Show your cards, please, gentlemen.
Ordinary.
Had no hesitation there at all, Boatman, in making that call.
Ross shows Jacks 7.
I think you were right, Grub. He was convinced that Fraser was on a draw.
How to play.
Still six-handed in this heat of the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe. Little surprising, though, that Fraser is at the bottom of the leaderboard. Now, Collier has picked up plenty of paint.
12 total.
And the glasses go on. And we are round to
Richard
Ian
makes it
Fraser.
12,000 to play.
Oh, Ian Fraser's got black aces.
And just when he needed them most. And to a man who's betting into him.
Now, he is the short stack. He'll want to get maximum value.
No raise.
Ian announces he's going to raise.
How much pressure does he want to apply? I suspect he wants a caller, so he doesn't want to frighten all the pheasants out of the bushes.
Another 25.
Raising 25,000 more, making it
37 total.
It's a big raise from Fraser. But Boatman has got a pocket pair himself, and he might think that Fraser is getting short, and he might make that move with a far less powerful hand than Pocket Rockets.
But a raise and a re-raise. Sevens don't look too pretty. He would have to hit the flop, and he knows that he is a long shot to do that.
No one wants to go out first.
The trouble for Ross Boatman is that Ian Fraser, even if he's bluffing, is pretty much pot committed now.
First or fifth's the same thing, right?
Second or fifth.
All right.
Pass.
Good pass from Boatman.
Pass.
Robin Keston
Pass.
launches his cards into oblivion.
Suddenly, Collier's King-Queen offsuit doesn't look quite as strong as it did about a minute ago.
Not a bad raise he made, but he asked the question and he has had the most definitive answer. He cannot fancy that his king-queen is in front anymore.
35,000. Another 25 to him after he made the original raise, Collier.
And there they are, passed.
Richard lays down the hand.
Correct
Ian
lay
wins
down,
out.
and a shot in the arm for Ian Fraser.
That was a tight one.
Daughter Emily certainly approved. He couldn't really slow play the aces too much, Grub, could he? With a razor in front of him and several players behind him.
Yes, he didn't win the most he could have won, but he did win, and that, when you're the short stack, is very important. Aces are always favourite against any hand heads up, but if there'd been 3 or 4 other players in the pot, then he wouldn't have won it more than half the time.
Yeah, the big phrase there is any hand singular. Once it starts being hands, the odds change dramatically.
Well, this time it's Bank Sonnet on the move.
Oh, once Fraser's got the bullets.
He's had the black ones, now he's got the red ones.
Second hand running.
Do we have a dealer or a photocopying machine? Ian Fraser happy as Larry, and no one's going to believe him this time.
Oh, we had the black and white photocopy, now we've got the colour version, Crub.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you put a raise in. Excuse me. Sorry, guys.
He's amateurs. Yeah? He's amateurs. Yeah? How long have you been around the game?
I'm only used to clicking buttons now.
All right.
Can I see how many? He's got his big chips
Ross
behind there.
has folded out of turn.
Sorry.
Ian Fraser still considering what to do with his monster hand. Well, Ross is psychic, obviously.
It's not like I'm new to the table.
Ross shouldn't have folded then, because even though Ian has announced raise, the size of the raise
more.
still has to be announced before he can act.
37 total. Pass. Pass.
So Collier having a peep.
33 more. Pass.
Not good enough for him to
This
play.
was the previous hand I would have pushed. In heads for him with this hand. But I think I'm gonna fold now. Because if you do a move twice in a row, it's pretty sick.
Is it?
No, I don't know. It's been stared down for 5 minutes.
This
but
is fantastic instinct from Ben Sonnet, who's
strong,
considering
strong
folding ace-queen.
This is probably the best hand I'm gonna get to this tournament.
Can you pass them chips over? He's going to pass.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Pass.
He lays down the hand. Ian wins the hand.
Fantastic fold from Sonnet. He just smelt something there. He was very suspicious of Fraser, and rightly so. Superb laydown.
What did you show?
And ace queen.
Good pass.
This is another great event on the calendar. I'm really excited to come in and play here. There's, as we said, there's 30 top European players been invited to play here, and it's going to be really tough. And as I say, whoever wins this, it'll be a nice trophy.
Well, if Ian Fraser gets aces this time,
Tell you when I'll play with you.
we may have to start questioning the dealer.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Pass.
I was there courtesy of Betfair.
King-queen offsuit for Iverson
8 total.
is worthy of a raise.
8,000 to play.
You got outdrawn in a
6 more.
You had low flush.
Pass.
Lure me in. I can't remember.
4 more.
Exactly, but you had low
Cheap.
flush.
Okay. I'm in.
More calls.
Sonnet suddenly found a few cards. He's going to play this time with ace-jack, and they're suited.
Iverson
Ace.
has just gone further behind.
Check.
4,000.
4,000, yeah? 4,000.
Iverson betting with nothing
4,000.
against a man with
I'll make
aces
15.
and a decent kicker, and here comes the
15.
raise.
15,000 by Bennett.
Next
He
one.
wins the hand.
Well, you can't blame Iverson for having a stab at it. Sonner is really starting to play well now. He's got 109,000 in chips, and he's in third place behind Keston and Boatman, but not much in it at the top. And look at Iverson now. He's the short stack with just 52,000. Here's the Bible as to what beats what. If all else fails, you've always got your high card. Next best is 1 pair. Better still, 2 pair. After that, 3 of a kind, also called trips or a set, followed by a straight, that's 5 in a row of any suit. Next up, a flush, 5 of the same suit in any order. You'll usually win with a full house, 3 of a kind plus a pair. That's unless your opponent has 4 of a kind, also called quads. Almost unbeatable is a straight flush, 5 in a row of the same suit. And top of the pops, a royal flush, that's a straight flush, ace high.
Strong play if it was a move, is what you're saying. If it was a move.
We're in West London for the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe.
It's 4 to play.
This is hand 29.
Ross Boatman with unlucky 13.
Pass. Pass.
And to Robin Keston, who's gone a bit quiet. Slightly card dead at the moment, and no life in Jack 5 off suit, I fancy.
Pass.
Rich Collier from Kent. The sunglasses have not gone on.
Careful.
He usually sticks them on after a raise, doesn't he, Grub? If he calls, they just stay perched on his head like that.
12 total.
Well, he has raised.
Richard makes it 12,000 to play.
Bank Sonner has got a very playable hand. There we are, the glasses are on. This time they're only hiding the secrets of a 4-5 off suit.
Call.
And it calls.
Come on, pick up the monster.
8 more.
And Ian Fraser complaining there that he needs a monster. Well, he's had a couple.
He's now aping Collier. On go the Fraser shades.
Ian passes.
Thank you.
Two-handed to the flop. One of them will want low cards, the other will want high cards. Let's see who the dealer favours.
10. Jack. 8.
Well, it's an open-end draw, isn't it, now for
Check.
Sonnet?
Where's check?
8.
Doesn't really matter what Sonnet bets
15.
here, because Collier's got absolutely no part of it.
And it bets 15,000.
It would be an outrageous move to come back over the top of Sonnet. He's only got that option or to throw him away.
Well, what I like about Rich Collier as a young player is he takes his time over these decisions. Doesn't do anything instantly, doesn't do anything lightly, and he has come over the top.
25,000 total.
What a move
Raise
with
20,000.
just a 5 high in your hand.
Just has his hand over his face there, which with a lot of players is a tell they don't have much. They're trying to hide any possible reaction to the fact they're bluffing. All in says Sonnet. He's read him like a book.
Maybe he heard his heart beating because Collier's was
Wins the hand.
thumping like Jim Carrey's in The Mask.
But it was a bold raise from Collier. It was a sensational all-in from Sonnet, who, don't forget, had nothing but a draw himself.
Did you show?
Full house.
You showed it?
Yep.
Sonnet claiming that he had a full house there when asked. He most certainly did not, but he had the best hand and he had the nerve to bet it. And he is now our chip leader.
You're watching the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe. The button is on our chip leader. Torsten Iversen has picked up pocket nines.
He is our second short stack. Richard Collier just dipping beneath him after that defeat to Bank Sonnet.
Don't feel obliged to put a raise in just because you ain't had a bet for a little while. Slowly.
Free advice from Ian Fraser.
11 total.
It also makes it 11,000 to play.
Pass. Pass.
And we're round to Ian Fraser. 9,000 more, and he's got a hand. Ace Queen.
What you got there? 50.
This would be a standard race if he takes Iverson on.
43.
I'm all in.
All in.
All in, says Fraser. He wants to isolate Iverson.
Ross Boatman will get out of the way with the 9-8. And Iverson's going to call. We're off to the races. Classic Hold'em situation. The overcards against the underpair.
Ian shows ace queen. Torsten shows pocket 9.
The Norwegian, a very slight favourite pre-flop, but of course, an ace or a queen will change all that.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Must remember that one, then.
Fraser
Put
has
that in the book, yeah?
been lucky so far. Can he get lucky on the flop?
5, 9.
Oh!
And a
Trip
jack.
9s.
5, 9,
Well,
jack.
there's a
Giving Torsten trip 9s.
running cards for a straight for Ian Fraser. Not impossible.
8.
Turn card is an 8.
It would have to be a 10 to give Ian the straight.
And it would be a sickener for Iverson. He
Can it
can't
be a
look.
10?
And a
No.
River cards are king.
That'll work though for Iverson. He's got himself
Torsten
right
with
back in it
trip 9s.
at Fraser's expense. It pretty much played itself, I think, once Fraser decided to move in with that ace queen. Iverson pretty much had to call it. He won the race and he's right back in the tournament.
54. No more.
Been a roller coaster ride. Sonnet is the chip leader with 160. With Boatman, Keston and Iverson now all over 100,000. You can see how slim Fraser's slice of the pie is.
Chelsea or Barcelona?
As a place to travel or the football team?
Chelsea.
Barcelona.
Both. Great teams.
Snails or mussels?
Muscles.
Muscles.
Snails.
Van Damme or Van Gogh?
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Van Damme.
Turn or river?
Haha.
The river.
The turn.
Glastonbury or Eurovision?
Eurovision.
What was that?
Glastonbury.
I only know about Eurovision, but I don't like that either. So.
Cards in the air. The button is on Boatman, so it's with young Rich Collier, who is short 36,000. And it's going to cost him a sixth of his stack if he wants to play, which he won't with those two. But he can't wait for too long with the blinds at this level.
I think I might have to here.
Ian Fraser says, I think I might have to. He's short stacked.
Fraser has 29,000 left.
He's got a picture card. It's a king with a weak kicker, but the chips are all in.
All in.
26.
26,000.
Ross has a hand.
Can't let it go any longer.
Queen Jack. Ross Boatman has plenty of chips.
Yeah, he might be considering this, Scrupp.
Yeah.
So he knows that Fraser would make that move with a whole variety of hole cards.
Ross has only got Torsten Iverson to act after him, so he could try to isolate Ian Fraser with a raise here.
Oh, look at Iverson sitting behind him with a pair of queens.
Oh, Ross could bet himself into trouble here. If he does try and isolate Fraser, Torsten will... Torsten doesn't quite have enough chips to take Ross out as well, but he would absolutely cripple him if this went the way that the cards suggest it will go. Big decision here. This is a real important pot.
We haven't seen Robin Keston's cards. Well, we have now. He's got 10-4 offsuit, so he's not going to be involved in this.
Well, we know Iverson is calling.
Pass.
Oh, and Ross has just saved himself.
Don't let it get past, boys.
Well, it's not going to get past Iverson, Ian, don't worry.
Okay, Torsten has called.
Call.
I had a chance of trebling then.
You haven't.
You haven't.
Take it you're passing it.
Yeah.
Keston's out of the way, and it will be bad news for Ian Fraser. He will be hoping for a king.
And the one small crumb of comfort, if he gets one, is that we know one queen has gone, because Boatman had it in his hand.
Well, I had one of those. I had one of those.
Ian shows King 7.
Drawing thin, one overcard.
There are 3 cowboys out there. Will they be amigos for Ian Fraser?
Ace.
Oh!
Give Torsten trip queens.
And Boatman is thinking, how much money did I save myself here?
Ooh, a 10.
I wanted a 10 last time to get out of
10 would
it.
give Fraser a straight here.
It would.
I don't hold any faith here somehow.
Can the river be cruel?
One of the 10s is unbelievable. There are only 3 to hit because Keston had passed the 10 and Ian Fraser has been saved in the most dramatic way imaginable.
Agony for Torsten Iverson. He flopped a set.
I'd have rather had the 10 last time.
And look at his face, he cannot believe it.
So after all that drama, here's how we stand. Sonnet with 177 in charge. Boatman and Keston are fine, and Fraser, having saved himself, is up to 62,000. Mentioned earlier that Fraser won the Pacific Poker Open in Maidstone, and when you win $500,000, grab it, doesn't half give you confidence a shot in the arm.
I don't think he needs confidence, the cards he gets.
18.
Keston has been quiet as a mouse. Now he raises. This is going to reverberate around the table. No way Collier can play his short stack with 3-4. Oh, but Benk might get into trouble. The only thing in his favour is that Robin has been very tight. No, he's going to raise it.
And as announced, he's going to re-raise.
He's all in. Wow. He's going to get a call, I fancy.
All in.
That was a very quick all in. Ian Fraser.
Pass.
Passes his cards.
He had an ace-9.
Ross Boatman rubbing his hands together. Only, I suggest, to warm them up before he folds these cards. King Deuce.
Pass.
So close, huh?
Keston, well, if he goes out, he's got a short walk home. Just lives a mile away from the studios. And he calls.
He's called. Great call.
We have a showdown.
And he's going to be a big chip leader if he wins, and he's a big favourite to do that against Sonnet 7s.
He's a 4-to-1 favourite. So will 7s prove lucky for the Swede? Bengt is our chip leader. He won't be buried if he loses, but he will be way down in the cellar.
No one else passed the 7, so there are still 2 live 7s in the deck.
Ace, Jack.
Not there though.
Jack 9.
No good.
Still the pair of 10s.
10.
Well,
turn card is giving Robin 3 10s.
And a 3.
River's a 3.
An 8,
and an 8 actually would have worked.
An 8 would have given Sonnet the straight there.
But it wasn't there, and it means that Keston has rocketed to the chip lead, and he has now got Sonnet very short. Sonnet did have him covered, but not by that much.
Six to play. Pass. 6. Pass.
Robin Keston reaching for chips. He's got the Kojak.
17.
And Robin makes it 17,000 to play.
Well, Collier won with
Pass.
4 deuce. Doesn't want to play 5 deuce. Oh, Benk Sonnet has got a monster. He's second short stack.
All in.
All in, he says. No surprise there.
All in.
And Keston, who is the chip leader, he can well afford this. Does he want to gamble with Sonnet? He knows he's probably behind, but his hand is a reasonable shot.
He would have 2 live cards.
I think it's 54.
37 more.
37,000
more.
So, 37 more.
More.
Yeah. 54,000.
Sevens is right on the limit here.
Dirty job.
And he would still be near enough chip leader, even if he played and lost. The only thing that might be in his mind, Gro, he doesn't want to double up a dangerous player like Sonnet.
Yeah, Sonnet has shown a lot of class, but there is the call.
Coin flop.
We have a showdown.
Coin flop, yeah.
Robin shows King Jack.
Yeah.
And Bennett has
That's what I said. I had
Queen.
dominated it.
Well, it's not quite a coin flip, as Sonnet suggests.
He's
roughly
That was a hand I didn't want
2 to
to
1.
37 in the
Yeah, I know.
And he won't like the fact that Keston has
I know,
live cards.
I know. I'm happier to have that than to have the. I'm happy for you to have that than the ace king.
Or the kings, maybe.
No, I don't give you that.
Absolutely, the Jack King, 2 live cards.
7, 6,
7,
6.
5, 7, 7,
No
6,
problem
6.
so far for Sonnet. His ace queen still holds
King
up.
of spades. Make it interesting.
8.
Turn cards and 8.
Ah, dear. No flush draws for either player, so it'll have to be paint. And it is! There it is!
Oh,
A crushing king for Keston.
On the river, Sonnet, who showed so much skill early, built up lots of chips, lost them in one big pot, and then was taken out in the cruelest fashion. He's our first victim with out of 5.
Yeah, I had a fun day here at the Betfair Poker Masters of Europe, but it didn't go my way. Maybe next year.
Very, very high standard of play in this seat of the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe. It took 49 hands to get a casualty, and then Bank Sonnet taken out on the river by our chip leader Robin Keston.
And you could argue that Bank Sonnet was playing better than anybody else at the table.
He played some inspired poker.
Poker can be cruel, and nothing kind about 10-5 for Torsten Iversen.
He's the only one allowed to do that.
Round to our chip leader, Robin Keston. Confidently chewing his gum now, and why not, with a mountain of chips in front of him.
Leave us in peace up here. We're enjoying our little heads
I have
up
been so
clashes.
good. I have been so good, honestly.
Well, don't spoil it now.
17.
So good.
Okay, Robin
Raise from the chip
raises to
leader.
17,000.
Yes, that's the sort of hand that Robin was folding. Now he's got the chip lead. He's doing a bully with
All
it.
in.
Moved all in.
How much?
The Terminator.
Collier has put his tournament life on the
27
line with
total.
2 very good cards.
27,000.
It's only going to be 10,000 more for
Terminator.
Keston to call. So he'll definitely make that call with his live cards.
Another inspired laydown from Boatman.
This is far worse. Cool.
He has to call,
Okay, Robin calls.
and he has live cards.
I have been good. I've been good.
Robin shows King 8.
That's good.
And Richard shows Ace 10 of spades.
Good luck.
Me too.
Can Keston repeat the magic against the young man from Folkestone?
2 8s have already gone, so there's just 1 8 left in the deck,
So good up till then, really.
which if Collier knew, he would be very happy to hear.
3, 4, 9.
He's okay so
3,
far.
4, 9.
Must be a king or an 8 now. Otherwise, Collier is safe.
Queen.
Ooh, that would have
So
given
cards
Collier a
queen.
heart tremor.
It would.
The paint there needs to be a king or an 8.
And a 9.
And it's
Ooh.
not. And the ace 10 has held
Richard
up,
stays
and
with
Collier
us.
has
10,
doubled
10
through.
bucks.
And he's up to more than 60,000 now. Well, the short stacks have shown an instinct
6 to
for
bet.
survival here. Collier, Fraser and Everson are still alive. Oh, look at this. Keston's picked up a pair of hooks.
17.
17.
Robin raises
rounds.
to 17,000.
It's a nice raise. 3 times the big blind.
Pass.
All in.
All in.
Ian has moved all in.
Ian's moved all in. He's got ace 10.
Pass.
All in.
And Everson
Wow.
says all in with a
I
slip.
want this hand. I want this hand.
You're not allowed to speak.
Torsten has moved all in.
Can you count, Diane?
You've got a call now just for the value.
Well, it's. I've got
I
a
think
big hand.
Fraser's right, Grabble, though. We can see he's dominated. He's got a call.
Well, Fraser is already in.
83,000.
Torsten's
is the
already
total
in.
bet.
And Robin Keston could put them both on aces.
65 there.
He won't like the re-raise and a re-raise. But pocket jack's a powerful hand. Pre-flop only 3 hands better.
Got a big pair.
I think when he adds it all up, he's going to have to call, Grub.
He'll have plenty left. It's a great opportunity. Not only would he knock out 2 players, but he would have an almost invincible chip lead. He knows that one of these players has probably got ace-king.
You've got to show it anyway.
Okay, we have a call.
He's made the call.
Reaction.
The cards will go over.
Okay, we've got
Ian Fraser will know he's in terrible shape.
And this pot is 234,000.
See, it's such a big hand.
Okay, Ian shows ace-10.
Keston will love the fact that the aces have been duplicated.
And Robin shows a pair of jacks.
As it happens.
He needs to dodge an ace or a king.
The fact that he's got the jack. Oh, trips straight away.
8.
And this one is practically over.
Jacks.
9.
Running cards for a straight is the only thing that could really hurt him.
Ace.
Yes. Finito. Finito.
Good call.
Aces would give him a full house, and it's all over. He has knocked out 2 players with 1 punch.
Robin Keston in complete command there. He's taken out Everson. He's taken out Fraser. He had a long think about it. He turned the pocket jacks into trips. He is right in command of the table, and we are down to 3.
I've had a fantastic experience today. I mean, the studio's really good, and like I say, with the audience there's a lot of chatting going on, and people are picking their favourite players who they want to watch, you know. Everyone was getting a nice cheer and that, and yeah, it's a good tournament, you know. Ben, I know he was first out, but a nice player, you know. You got some real good players here.
It was a fun tournament to play, and I got a lot of bad cards and some very good cards, so it was easy to play. So I had a couple of showdowns and won 1, lost 2, so it was okay. But
You're watching the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe from London, and we are 3-handed in this heat. Alongside me is Grub Smith. The short stack is Rich Collier, who has just 51,000. That's enough to last him barely 3 rounds with these new blind levels, Grub.
Yes, Rich Collier will have to get involved and hope to double through early, otherwise he will be eaten alive by these 2 professional players. Any paint in front of Collier, any ace, and he will probably make a move. Robin Keston will be aware that he can't get too cute with the short stack, because it could cost him a significant number of chips. And Rich looks down.
They're all going in.
He likes the look of them. And King 8 suited, fair move with that chip stack and with these blinds.
Richard wins the hand.
So some much needed chips. Not many of them, but he's going to keep doing that. Who this time, if he so wishes, can pass for free.
3-handed, he's first to act. He's gone all in with worse.
All in.
Okay, Richard's moved all in.
With 3-5 of diamonds.
Ross Boatman doesn't fancy it with a 9 deuce. And Robin Keston, well, if he could see the cards, we know he'd call. But he can't. And fair play there to young Rich Collier, showing some real moxie.
With the blinds at this level, there are 15,000 in the middle before the get-go.
10 to play.
That's why Collier's under so much pressure.
Richard Collier has shown a talent for stealing, but he has 2 particularly raggy cards, 2 and a 3.
I think the shake of the head was a bit of a tell there, Grub.
Well, I think folding them was a bit of a tell as well. Ross Boatman doesn't want to share his cards with us. Does he want to put chips in the middle?
Any raise.
He just makes a call. Well, there it is. One of them's an ace, just a 6 with it.
Check.
Okay.
Robin Keston with only a 2-4. Happy to see a free one.
10.
Bottom pair for Boatman. We know that any bet will get Keston off the hand, but Keston is going to fire first with nothing.
Now Ross has hit this flop.
Call.
And he makes the call. Will that slow Keston down? Ross will be first to
9.
act.
Starting to become a slightly dangerous board. 3 clubs. There's a possible
check
straight as well.
Can Robin Keston pull the trigger? I think 20 or 30,000 here could finish this one.
30,000.
Well, certainly if Boatman was putting him on a flush draw.
30,000.
Pair of 8s would be good, 10s would be good. There's a straight possible as well. Be a fantastic call from Boatman.
There are a lot of ways to lose.
What a play from Boatman.
From Barnes.
Over the top with just a pair of 6s. He does have a nut flush draw, but it's still a very gutsy move. We know there is no possibility at all
106,000
of Keston calling.
76,000
I
more.
think what's going on in Keston's head, Grubby, is he's just been outplayed.
Well, Ross with the balls to bet his nut flush draw and bottom pair. I think if it hadn't been the 9 of clubs, that bet would have worked from Keston.
But Boatman could easily have folded. He could have sat back, hoped that Collie would have gone out and got heads up. But he knows there are no prizes for second.
Here Ross wins the
and
hand.
Keston puts them down, and that's terrific play from Boatman, who's picked up a really big pot.
I don't look at players who are sort of 19, 20 years old and think, well, I know much more than they do, so I've got it all made. Not at all. You know, they've probably played 10 times more hands than I have. You know, so the skill factor and the skill level has really gone through the roof in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. So I got a lot of respect for anybody I sit down with until I've got reason to think otherwise.
This heat, we have reached hand 71. We're 3-way, Boatman, Keston and Collier.
Pass, 5 more.
Action here is on Ross. And an ace heads up, effectively, which he is now with Keston, usually enough for a raise.
Call.
Just a call.
Ross
Check.
calls. No raise from Robin.
Keston refusing to be sucked into that particular piece of Boatman quicksand.
10.
But he's hit a pair and leapt into the lead.
Check.
2 hearts on board as well. It's not good news at all.
Check.
For the
Both
ace
players
too,
check.
that flop.
7.
Now 2 pairs. So that's effectively improved.
Check.
Keston's
Check.
kicker.
Keston's suspicious of something.
And a jack.
Well, his
Check.
hand just got slightly better. Jacks and 10s instead of 10s and 7s.
Jacks and 7s, of course, for Boatman with an ace high. It's not going to be good.
10,000.
Now, Boatman fancies his ace as a kicker.
It's a crying call, isn't it? He knew he was probably behind, but he wanted to check.
Jackson.
And he saw the bad news from Keston.
Jacks and 10s. He wins the hand.
More chips for the chip leader.
10 to play.
The prize pool for the final of the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe is $300,000. You guaranteed $19,000 for finishing last in that final. The winner will take home $120,000.
On the button, Robin Keston looking favourite to be that winner of this heat
5 more.
and get to that final. But he's leaving this hand to the blinds to battle out. What has Collier found? 5 deuce. Again, he's all in with low cards.
Moved all in.
And has he found Boatman with a hand? It looks like Boatman has a real decision.
Well, these two pretty level in chips.
What's he got? He's got 10 jack. It's an action hand up against a small stack. You can see those cogs whirring.
Total.
This would
76,000.
devastate Boatman's stack if he called and lost. That will be going through his mind. But as he slips closer to being short stack himself, he realises that sooner or later he has to offer battle to the young man from Folkestone. Not this time. He passes. Another great bet from Collier with rags.
2-5. It was enough. And he's now the highest he's been for a long time. He's up to nearly 90,000. And he's only a few thousand behind Boatman.
10 to play.
We know what Keston likes to do
30 total.
when he has the button in front of him, and that's enough paint to do it with.
That is a genuine hand for a change.
And Collier's got a bigger one. And surely they're all going in, and they are.
Ross has found a hand as well.
61,000 total bet.
But with a raise and a re-raise, even three-handed, he can't play that. And I think that Robin has to call here. He's priced in.
Yeah, it's only 30-odd thousand more, I think, Grub.
This would be great news for Collier.
We have a showdown.
He's going to love these cards.
And he could get right back into this tournament. There's 132,000 in the pot.
He was blindfolded, walking the plank with a cutlass in his back. But now, if he wins this hand, he'll be right back in it.
Doesn't want to see much paint.
4-9 ace.
Oh, that's a superb card for Collier. Gives it the nod of approval.
For Richard.
And Keston is going to need runners.
Yes, he's going to need to hit jacks and queens or some sort of straight.
9.
That's no good.
He's dead. And Collier
sits back down again.
He does, and he's got a sizable stack.
The river are unimportant.
And a jack.
Just adding insult to injury.
Okay, Richard wins.
Aces and
2
nines.
pairs. Aces and nines.
He was down to around 30,000 at one stage, Rich Collier. Now he's a live contender. He's into second place behind Keston, who is still a huge chip leader despite losing that pot. And now Boatman is the man under the most pressure.
15 to play.
Blinds are now 7 and 15,000 in this heat of the Betfair.com Poker Masters of Europe. Keston with 6-9.
Pass.
Pass.
And for the first time in a long while, he's passed a hand on the button.
He doesn't like the 69.
8.
Richard Collier has found a pair. It's the worst one you can have, but it's still a pair.
Yep, and effectively heads up against
57
Boatman.
total.
Okay, Richard raises.
He's going to raise.
57 to play.
Ross has got suited connectors. Staring up at the heavens. Knows he can't afford to fold too many hands with the blinds at 7.15. And if he calls, he's all in. Or might as well be.
Yeah, it's 42,000 more to Boatman, so effectively he'd be putting his tournament on the line with 7 high.
Yes, he's got 6-7. We know that Keston folded a 6 and a 9, which somewhat messes up both his chances of making a straight and making 3 6s. He won't know this.
But he knows also he can't frighten Collier out of this pot. Collier will have to make the call if Boatman goes all in. Nothing seems to ruffle him at all. Again, that heart rate below 100.
All right, let's gamble.
Let's
and he wants to play.
Ross has moved all in.
He's going to love what he sees.
He is a slight favourite, Grub, against the
67
under pair to his suited 6-7.
Well, with one of the 6s gone, I think it's probably just shading
6-7
Collier.
Wow.
Against pocket deuces for Richard.
I realise how much you're going to like it,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Ross happy now, but he does need
no,
to
I couldn't
connect
ask
with
much
his
better
6-7 of diamonds.
Knows he's got value.
King.
Can he hit?
5.
King
Not
5
so
jack.
far. Can't make the flush now, of course. A 6 or a 7 would still work.
Jack.
Turn card is a jack.
Put a king out there.
Another king would counterfeit the 2s.
Another 5.
Yeah, that's extra outs for Ross.
But it's not there, and we have lost one of our best players. Ross Boatman, he gambled with his city connectors, but the pocket duck stood up for Rich Collier, who's now a real force, and he's going to play heads up with Keston.
It was a nice atmosphere at the table. All nice guys. I know most of them already, and it was a lot of fun. I'll play next time too.
Rich Collier came into this heat as a 15-2 outsider, and he's now got a great chance of getting through to the final, albeit that the chip leader is still Robin Keston, but his lead has been gradually whittled down as Collier has fought back from just 30,000 chips to nearly 230.
And we know that it's all because of skill. Rich Collier told us before this heat started that he thinks it's unlucky to be superstitious.
Apart from, of course, putting his sunglasses on every time he bets.
Well, Robin Keston has his sunglasses in the ready position, and down they go. Heads up, of course, a different game. It's all about aggression. And if anything, these two have been the most aggressive at the table. So it's a fitting matchup.
Collier is a keen sports fan. He's got a season ticket at Chelsea. He's a keen golfer as well.
Cool.
And he likes to play.
You've just lost him a lot of friends there. We're going to see a flop. Collier quite conservative with the Queen 9 of hearts.
9.
But he's hit top pair.
Can't see Keston putting any more chips into this pot unless he wants to try and buy it. And now he's checked. I think Collier's bet should just about finish
35.
proceedings here in his first
Pass.
heads-up duel.
Richard wins the first hand.
Another step in the right direction for the young man from Folkestone.
Blinds still 7 and 15,000.
8 to play.
Excellent hand heads up for Collier. Just a question of how much the raise is.
Any raise.
He flat calls, and Robin Keston's also got an ace. They've both got massive hands.
Collier's trying to trap, and Keston is not having any of it.
If an ace comes down here, the money could go in the middle.
7.
That was
4.
great instincts from Keston. He could easily have raised back at Collier. Chose to just call it.
Check.
He is out of position.
Check.
He checks. It's
I've
another
played
check.
9.
Turn card is a 9.
Check. Check.
See the river card.
The 8 kicker still plays.
Queen.
It's a queen.
Check. Check.
Players check.
Well, it could have been a hand where all the money went in. As it is, almost none of it went in.
It's amazing, isn't it? You see players making moves with nothing, and they both had a bullet. Neither committed many chips.
Well, they will be extremely wary of each other now, if they weren't already.
Very, very close in chips, these two. Keston is still a slight leader, but the momentum is with Rich Collier and has been for some time, even before heads-up play.
8 to play.
He's found a suited Queen and 6.
Call.
Makes the
Any
call.
raise.
And Robin Keston has the option. He has an inferior Queen.
All right.
You see a flop?
Sort of like Mary Tudor against Elizabeth I.
Fireworks
3,
here if the
9,
Queen comes on the
7.
flop.
But it is 3s for Robin Keston.
Check. Check.
Both players have checked.
10.
Turn card is a 10.
Keston still in front with bottom pair.
But he can't be overly confident
Check.
with 3 overcards on the board to his 3s.
It's been a long time since Keston made a bet.
25.
Richard bets
And now he
25
throws
and
away the
wins
best hand.
I think Robin Keston is increasingly respectful of Collier. Barry Mundy is our tournament director. Other than you, he's got the best seat in the house to ensure fair play.
Rich Collier has the button. 8,000 to call. And he is having a
to
peep
play.
at his cards, and why not? King Jack. He's limped a couple of times with strong hands.
Call.
And limps
Amen.
again.
Richard calls.
This really is cagey play, and Keston has a king also.
No raise.
And he
No
rejects
raise,
his
we see a
option
flop.
to raise, and we're going to see a flop.
Keston refusing to get dragged into
3. Queen. 3.
hands with moderate cards. He is protecting his slender chip lead against the
Check.
young pretender.
Check.
Both players check.
6. Check or bet.
Still possibilities
Turn
of
card
a
is 6.
split pot here.
A king on the river would put the cat among the pigeons. Although, if it did come, they'd be spreading the pot, of course, with that queen.
30.
Robin bets 30,000. Richard
Call.
calls. See the river card.
Collier didn't believe Keston.
It's an 8.
Will Keston fire again?
Collier can only lose if he is bluffed off the pot.
And Keston, of course, can only win if he bets.
Well, his last bet wasn't enough to do it. He knows he's going to have to put in around about 50, 60,000.
He's got a pair of 3s, king high. Collier has that all-important jack kicker.
This has to be a significant chunk of change.
Robin bets 46,000.
Is that enough? 46 into a pot that was 90,000. It would be a terrific call if Collier makes it.
Call.
And he does, without even thinking. And Keston is not going to want to turn over these cards. He has to. And Collier has him out-kicked, outplayed, and he's also taken over the chip lead. And it was almost a nod of acknowledgement from Keston. But this 20-year-old saw right through it. And he is the new chip leader with 360,000. Big blinds now 15, small blind 7. The action is on Collier.
8 to play.
He stares down at ace 4. He has been just flat calling with these hands, but there seem to be rather more chips in the armoury there.
45.
And there is the raise, and that's got Keston
45,000.
contemplating, and he's found an ace as well. Last time they both had aces, it was cagey. This time, we might get some action.
We could be looking at another split pot, though. They both have rag aces.
Robin passes. Richard wins the hand.
Keston. He is rattled by this lad.
There's no doubt about it.
Keston, the far more experienced player. He really did play that short stack well to survive this long. Possibly the thin oxygen of a chip lead may affect him differently, but he seems calm as a cucumber.
Now Keston has found a big hand here, ace 7. He's got to raise this. They nearly went in accidentally.
I think they're going to go in anyway, or at least some of them.
48.
Here Robin makes it 48,000 to play.
And what's Collier got?
Well, it's a pair of 5s.
I'm thinking re-raise.
More.
Will he be tempted by the
All in.
snakes? He says all in!
Richard has moved all in.
And now Keston has to make a decision for his tournament life. If he plays this and loses, then Collier will be in the final. If not, he'll be a massive chip leader, Keston, if he wins it. Will he play?
Has Keston got to the end of his tether? Standing up. I think he's going to do it.
He's got that hand working on the felt again. Last time we saw that, he pushed his cards in.
Well, this time, his hands are on his chips. It's a big, big decision. If he puts Collier on a bigger ace, he has to vote, but he says, I call!
We have a call, we've got a showdown.
And we're off to the races, and Collier is 5 cards away from the biggest poker payday of his life.
Richard shows a pair of 5s.
If these 5s hold up...
Robin shows ace-7.
This would be a remarkable comeback. But
he's got to dodge an ace or a 7.
Keston will be happy to see those 5s. Of all the hands he could have put Collier on, that's one of the more friendly.
King,
now,
4, 3.
the 5s are a big favourite. There are no spades to worry about for Collier.
Has to be a 7 or an ace.
Turn card is a 6.
Well, that's a straight draw, so the 7 no good now.
A spade would split the pot.
A 7 no good, a spade would split it. Has to be an ace for Keston. Can he get a bullet?
He can't. And Collier has taken Keston down from 27,000 chips. He came back to win the lot against players with much more experience. He's been an online pro for a year, and in live play, he has proved himself to be a genuine match for these top pros. He's going into the final. Keston has to be content with second.